Okay. Hi, everyone. It's been a while. It has been a while. I haven't done an online I can't even remember when was the last time, but it's so good to see you guys. Please leave a comment on where you are watching me from today, tonight, this afternoon, wherever it is that you are. I would love to hear from you. So let's go to the comment section. Leave me a message. Let me know where you're from. Tell a friend to tell a friend that this is the show all about investment opportunity in fish farming. Why is fish farming like going crazy? Why is aquaculture, a big thing now? From Liberia. Hey, hi, Jay. Thank you so much for watching. Today is going to be a very interesting conversation. Like I mentioned, please tell a friend to tell a friend because we are live. I will be bringing on our guest, Mr. Latte. I'll bring him 8 o'clock on the dot. But how are you guys? What have you been up to? Are you interested? From Sierra Leone, hello. Wow, it's 11:56 p.m. From Sierra Leone, but you're currently in Dubai. I love your show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Dallas, Texas. Hey, James, how are you? Thank you so much for watching. I guess you are all interested in the opportunity of investing in fish farming. You know me, and I always say that we need to invest back home. And so I always want to bring you, what can I invest in? Not just tell you to invest, but then I will tell you what you can invest in and why I think that fish farming is a huge thing. Hey, Priscilla. Hey, Gooba team. I have my Gooba team members here. Shouldn't you be at the funeral? Why are you here? But good to see you. Oh, yeah, you're in, you're somewhere in Europe. Good to see you. Bologatanga, Upper East region. Wow. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Keep sharing. We want to make sure that everybody is watching and sharing this news. We are. So make sure that you get all your questions ready that you want to ask. From the UK, hey, Gabriel, from one Gabriel to another. Gabriel Genfi Tofo, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for watching. Get your questions ready for what you want to ask Gabriel, what you want to know about fish farming, why you think that maybe is something that you're going to venture into. Yeah. But yeah, let's get more people. I want to hear more comments. Where are you? Where's everybody? Let me know. I'm back. My internet decided to go off, but I'm back. Yes, let me hear from you. Hope you guys are well. There's a lot more people watching, so please do let me know where you are watching me from and why you are excited about fish farming. Let me know. Yes. Let me know. Okay, so we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on LinkedIn. Yes. But again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Dentaa. I'm the founder of The Dentaa Show, which is about I think I've been doing this for about 23 years. And then the founder of Gooba. So Gooba, we're going to be hosting in Barbados. So we are going to be going to Barbados this year, and I need all of you who are watching to join us in November as we take a trip to Barbados, connecting the Caribbean and Africa together, which I think is a beautiful thing. So yeah, Who else is watching? Say hi, say hi, say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. And I will be bringing on Gabby. So I interviewed Gabby a few weeks ago, and I was just blown away by the opportunity of investing in fish farming. And so the interview actually is coming out tomorrow evening. So you must watch that. But I wanted him to, because I've been getting so many messages that, this fish farming, I want to know more. I want to invest. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I was like, you know what? Let me get him on so he can answer all your questions and anything that you are worried about. Maybe you're thinking of doing something else. Maybe we can tell you why aquaculture is better. As you know, Hi, Cameron. You're watching from New York City. Yay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So let's bring on Gabby. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Lady Dentaa. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm also very fine. It's an honor to be on the Odana network. I'm amazed.
I know my network. Uh-oh. Gabby, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. I lost you a little bit, but we're back. We're back. So
Okay.
yeah, Gabby, please introduce yourself to my beautiful audience who are watching us from all over the world. You've seen New York, UK, Cape Coast, Bolagatanga, London, Dubai. They're all on right now watching this show. So please, just a little introduction, and then we'll delve into the interview.
All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Latte, and I'm the founder of Latman Farms. Latman Farms is a business that I set up about 5 years ago. And what we specialize in is to set up fish farms. When I say fish farms, we are looking at freshwater fish. So basically, either your tilapia or your catfish. And what we try to do is to use resources that is available to us in our homes and our space to set up and start a fish farm. So we have people who have started fish farms from their backyards, but then we try to move you from setting up a farm in a backyard into a commercial space. Then we look at how we can tap into various aspects of the value chain. So basically, that's what we do. So we set up the farm, we train people in fish farming, we give you the inputs for your fish farm, inputs, i.e., that's the tank. So we'll build the farm for you. We get you the fish, we get you the fingerlings that you would require and any other thing that you would need. And then when your fish is, while you're taking care of the fish, we also teach you a bit of some daily farm management practices. And then after that, then the next thing to do is to help you to sell. And then anything in between the value chain, we come in to assist you and give you the details that you require.
Uh-oh. Gabby, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I don't know if it's my reception or your reception, but it just cut out a little bit. But okay, when you started the fish farming, what were some of the challenges when you started and how did you overcome it?
Okay, so I started my farm post-COVID, and during that time, there was a lot of stress almost everywhere. So I wanted to start this thing, and then I was looking at. I didn't start as a fish farm. I was looking at what can I do in agriculture because at that time I had some money with me, and I was running a business prior to COVID, but then the business had gone down due to some restrictions that I couldn't control. So in looking into this, I was thinking about should I go into agriculture, that is to plant crops, or to go into animal farming. And so there are a lot of challenges that I saw at the initial stages. That was being able to procure a site, being able to access the site, the resources that is required. So I said, okay, then let me rather think about poultry. And in thinking about poultry, I drew the plan. I thought about piggery. I drew the plan. and someone suggested fish farming. So I said, okay, then let me go and then do a bit of some research into fish farming. Now, in doing my research in fish farming, I realized there was scant information online. There wasn't a lot of information, so it made things a bit more difficult because a lot of the things I was seeing online were people just giving you bits and pieces of information, but then there was nothing that was conclusive enough for me. So there was a bit of an information gap in that during that time. Aside the information gap that I realized, the other set of things that it trickled down to was if there's information gap, then sourcing of some of the inputs that you would require to start your farm. Some of them was a bit challenging because there weren't a lot of people that were running commercial fish farms. Aside that, there was also based on what we were trying to culture, right? We're trying to culture catfish, and this was a time where the indigenous Ghanaian knows that the catfish has to be smoked and it has to be put into the soups. And here lies the case. I started trying to sell very huge size of fish, which people rather want people to grill them. And because of that gap, we decided to now grill for people. And we realized that it took a while for the market to grow. But in about 2 years or 3 years after I started a business, I just saw things just pick up quickly because there were a lot of there were a lot of people that were now looking out for fish farming as something that they could do. It eased up some of the challenges because now there were more companies coming into the country to produce feed meals. And so the price of feed became a bit competitive among the companies. And so the price is it's a bit stable, or it has been a bit stable. These are just a few of the challenges I'll share with you.
Okay. So why do you think now is the best time to invest in fish farming? What have you seen?
Okay, so when I started this business, I said I was going to give this business 10 years of my life. If after 10 years I don't see what I'm looking out for, then I would have to look out for something else because my background is some way in marketing. So in my 5th year, I've realized that there's a lot of massive potentials in this particular kind of business. The first thing has to do with demand. There is a massive demand for fish in various African countries. I heard someone say that you joined from Sierra Leone. Shout outs to you. I've been in Sierra Leone to work on a couple of fish farm projects, and I know and I realized that, in fact, in different pockets of different places in Africa, we do consume a lot of fish. For example, in Ghana, in a year, it is said by a survey that every Ghanaian consumes about 25 kilos of fish in a year. And that's massive, right? That's massive. So the first thing is has to do with the demand. If I should ask anybody on the stream, when was the last time you ate fish? Probably would have about 80% of the people who have joined us saying, I ate some either yesterday or today. So it's something that's incorporated in our diet, and it's something that we already do love, and we eat them from time to time. So the first thing has to do with demand. And demand is you know that when there's demand, we need to work out the supply. Now, Ghana imports well over about $200 million worth of fish produce every year. And that is the kind of market that we are all looking into, because if Ghana is producing, so in terms of production, there is the wild caught fish. That's the fish in the rivers, or let's say in the sea. And due to a lot of climate change and what have you, the supply is reducing. And for that matter, that is why we are in, and that's why we are saying there's fish farming. That is where human beings decide to farm fish, which is also termed as the aquaculture. Now, aquaculture has been able to surpass fish that is being harvested from various water bodies across the world. And it's being said that by 2030, we are supposed to see a massive growth, especially coming from Africa, about 56% when it comes to the growth of the industry, which means that from now to the next 5 years, that 56%, where is that 56% going to come from? It's going to come from activities from myself and other farmers like myself, putting activities together, trying to meet that goal.
Okay. So, when we did our interview, I wanted to compare why fish farming and why not poultry farming. What would you say is the difference? Why would you say that fish farming is still more lucrative or better?
Okay, so in terms of the fronts, right? Let's do a quick calculation. So if let's say you have a 70 by 100 piece of land, right? And you want to use that to culture you that's the resource you have, and you want to use that to culture your birds. There are different set of questions that needs to have you need to ask yourself. First off, where are you going to set up the farm? Is it going to be in an urban area, or is it going to be in a rural area? If it's going to be in an urban area, then it becomes a bit challenging, because definitely people around you are going to be asking a lot of questions with respect to whatever smell that would be generated from your farm. So in that particular regard, you realize that the fish farming, if water changes are done properly, you do have very little to no smell being produced from your farm as compared to if you had to do poultry. That's one. The second bit has to do with in terms of space and yes, in terms of space. Now, if you have a 70 by 100 space and you want to culture some birds, probably you decide to put up like two spaces or two structures together, right? Now, I realized that fish farming is going to give you close to 15,000 pieces of fish on that piece of land. Meanwhile, because of birds and their biosecurity issues, you may reduce the quantity in that particular space so that your birds, you don't have a lot of your birds being unwell. The second thing has to do with cost. Okay, for example, running 1,000 fish farm compared to running 1,000 birds farm, you can do a quick comparison of the cost, and then when you do those quick comparisons, you would be able to realize that you may not spend as much to take care of that 1,000 pieces of fish, which is going to now churn out. Later on, I'll do a bit of the calculations over there for us to see. But then, as compared to you running poultry. The third bit has to do with disease management. Disease management with birds, yes, there are some vaccines and what have you, but when something happens, let's say if you have an issue in your fish farm as compared to if you have something happening in your with your birds, sometimes the risk levels are things that you need to take a look at all over again. Birds, if something is not okay, again, you can go and come, and almost everyone is gone. Whereas with fish, depending on the kind of species you are culturing, it can give you a bit of some time to recover if you know the right set of things that you're supposed to do. So I did these comparisons. I looked at the resources that I'm going to invest if I'm running a poultry farm compared to if I am going to run a fish farm. And especially for those people who do not have a bigger space. So yes, I
Right.
was doing a 70 by 100 space, but if you have a quarter of that, you can still farm good number of fish, which that's in that same space. You can't farm a lot of birds, which would give you big money. So in terms of that comparison, it helps those who have bigger resources in terms of you build a big structure. You have a lot of land for the birds. There's a lot of air moving in and out, and that's what would help you if you want to culture birds as compared to fish.
Okay. So definitely fish is the way. Fish is the way. And
In
it's
my
also easy to, in your opinion, and it's also easy to move,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So a lot of the fish farm setups that we do, they are in tarpaulin tanks, right? And these tarpaulin tanks are very, very movable. So, for example, when I started my farm, I started in my backyard in East Legon, and after a while, I moved everything to the new site, and it's easy like that. But if you set up a structure for your birds, probably if it's a battery cage system, is the cages that you can move away. But in terms of the structure, there'll still be some amount of cost that you may not be able to move, and then that becomes a problem.
Yeah, and then some people think, oh my God, fish farming, it's going to be smelly. What type of documents do I need? Because if you want to do in your backyard, say you're in a residential area, can you still do fish farming? What
Yes.
documentation or approvals do
Good.
you need?
So for example, using myself as a case study, when I started my fish farm, now we measure. So with fish farm, we are dealing with water, so we do a lot of measurements, and the when it comes to environment, the question is, what are you reduce, or what are you producing, or what are you going to release into the environment, right? So fish farming, the general idea is around how do you manage your water. Is it entering into a drainage system, or you are going to allow the water to pour from your homes onto the streets and what have you? So if when I started, right, I wasn't doing any large production. Now, when I say large production, I am looking at I grade my farmers. So from 0 to 5,000 fish is very, very small scale. And then let's say from 5,000 fish to 50,000 fish, that's like medium scale. And then as bigger than 50,000 fish, that's like a large scale. So from the 5,000 to 50,000, then you may need the Environmental Protection Agency license that tells everyone that comes there that, okay, I am not releasing anything into the environment, and so I'm not harming the environment in any way. Then the second thing you need is from the district assembly. That's normally for almost all businesses for operational purposes. So any business that you operate in any district you find yourself, you need to go to the district assembly, let them know this is what I'm doing. For example, if your fish is ready, are you going to handle them? Are you going to maybe you want to, maybe even if it's fresh fish, right, and you want to handle and package them, the district assembly is supposed to give you a bit of some certification that says that you can do this over here and you are going to handle it safely for human beings. So there's the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Agency. There's the district assembly's one. If it's a business, definitely you have to register it with the Registrar General's Department. And then if you want to export, then the GEPA comes in, and then also the Ghana Standards Authority, and then Food and Drugs Authority.
Okay. And typically, how long does that process take? For these things that have to go through, the EPA, the district assembly, how long does that process take?
Okay, so some of them take less than a month. For example, when we started processing our fish, our FDA certifications were available in less than a month. Okay. So it's basically around getting your documentations right. If you have all your documentations right, there isn't too much of a back and forth. Okay. And with the district assembly permit as well, so I'll say within a month, a lot of these things should be made available to you. Some of them would only be required when your fish is ready and you need to take samples to labs. And yes, exactly.
Okay. And are you seeing a lot of young people going into fish farming?
Yes. So when I started my farm till today, I would say that we've set up over 170 farms. This record is from last year. I've not added anything we've done this year. But right on top of my head, today happens to be on the 22nd of March. And minimum number of ponds we set up this year, or farms we set up this year, I know is around like 14 and still counting. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that does not even include people that we didn't go and set up directly. But because we do have a content that teaches people, people do go in and then also consume the content and then start their farm. The beautiful thing about this is we've seen a lot of young people having a lot of passion and desire to do this. And this is because the way of farming has changed. And for us as a generation, like I'll say my generation and all of us, is a generation where we've seen a lot of value in farming. We now see that farming is the way to go. And some of us, we have taken a lot of knowledge on, right? And we've seen young people who would want to also do this, and we want to also share that knowledge that we've received with young people. So in our trainings, we normally do have about 60% of our trainings being young people coming in to come and be trained. And then in terms of the setups, it just goes down a little bit to about like 45% of the people who set up farms for being young people.
That is great. It's good to see that there's a shift in agriculture, because we've always seen it as our mum and dads, elder people. So it's nice to see that there is a shift of young people now engaging in agriculture. And it's nice to see young people like yourself who are advocating and also promoting for people in the diaspora. So you set up for people in the
Yes.
diaspora to be
Yes.
able, who are not, some of them have not even come to Ghana yet. They're like, they trust you to be able to set that up. So tell us the process of that, because a lot of my people that are watching are from the diaspora and are very
Okay.
much interested in setting up. So how is the process? What do you have to do?
Okay. So we realized that about 70% of our clients are people in the diaspora, right? And people in the diaspora do have certain things they want from you. So one, give them, if possible, all the quality information they require. Information they require means how do they set up, how do they make payments, uh, how is management going to be, and then timeliness of delivery. Okay, so if you're in the diaspora and you want to set up a farm, the first thing we ask you is to share location of the farm with us. And then there's the first thing we do, that's the feasibility assessment. So the feasibility assessment is the first step before any other thing. So with that, the team from Latte Farms would visit the site. The site can be a house you built, but no one is living over there, some land somewhere that you have, but you're not using it, and you want to more or less like still claim your land. Then we go there, we do an assessment. The assessment is supposed to check the capacity of fish that can be set up on the farm, to check if possible, if you have a borehole or you have any water source, we do some water quality test. Then when we are done, we give you a comprehensive report. So that comprehensive report is supposed to tell you that if you are to set up the farm, it's going to cost you X amount of money to set up the farm. It's going to cost you Y, you are going to make Y amount of money from the farm. It's going to take you this period, and then you have a full report down. If you have that report, we send a report to you, and then you go through. Sometimes we give some clients some obligations. For example, we went and then we saw some trees and what have you all over there. We just tell you, let them clear the land and level it for us. If all of that is done, we just send you an invoice on the quantity you want to do. So we've set up, what we've done is we have packages for our farmers or anybody who is interested in the farm. So we have a package for like 1,000 fish currently in Ghana, which is about like 11,500 Ghana cedis. That is for the package. And then we have a package for 1,000, 700, 500, and then like 250 pieces of fish. But for every package, what we do is we come and set up the pond with the plumbing materials, what have you. We bring some fish, the feed, and then you are ready to go. So you will tell us, maybe I want to do 3 packages, 2 packages, and in just a couple of days, we come and then we set up. If we can set up 5 ponds in about a day or 2. So that's within a day or 2, your farm should be ready, and then we come and stock with your fish, and then we are good to go.
Okay, so someone's asked, what sort of startup capital roughly would be advisable to start with?
Okay, so if we are to go quickly into that, then let's go into the packages and how they look like. Yeah. So for the packages, we have different packages. So we have package for 1,000 fish, and the package for 1,000 fish is 11,500 Ghana cedis, and which is approximately about 741, or let's say $742. Now, with this amount, $742, we are going to come and set up the farm. We are going to bring the fish. We are going to come and we'll bring you about like 5 bags of feed, which is supposed to last you your first 3 months of production. Right after that, then the next set of costs you are going to incur will be the subsequent bags of feed that your fish would need if you want to grow them for either 4 months or you want to grow them for 6 months. So generally, in terms of cost, we do see that people spend about $1,775 to that is for the farm, to set up the farm for the entire 6 months duration, right? And then that's equivalent to about like 27,500 Ghana cedis. That is for fish feed and almost all of the inputs for the entire 6 months of production.
Okay.
Then, when the fish is ready and we are going to sell the fish, normally we sell them at a base price of 40 cedis per kilo. And so 40 cedis per kilo, we are looking at, if we have 1,000 fish, we are looking at 40,000 Ghana cedis. And if you want to convert that into dollars, if you should start with $1,775, you should look at a region of $2,580. That is in general, that is in revenue. But normally with a farm like that, we see your profit margin being around $805 for your first cycle of production.
I think that is great. So basically, for as little as $750,
yes,
you can start your fish farm.
So with as little as $750, you start your farm, and that should last you for the first 3 months of production. And that's beautiful because it means that the farmer or the financier or the sponsor has 3 months break. Okay. And if they want to, after the 3 months, it's just feed that they need to buy. So if let's say you need to buy 10 months to last you the next month or two, then probably you are looking at an extra $200 or $300. You send that, and then it's used to procure the feed, and then it moves in that progression. So it moves with what you can afford. After the $750, the rest is what you can afford from time to time. It doesn't have to be a lump sum. It can be gradual.
Okay. And so do you manage the whole process? So as somebody, I know Bridget, she lives in the UK. She's not here very often. She wants to do it for a period of a year, right? She's got the funds, she wants to do that. Do you manage the whole process? Do you have somebody at the farm doing this, or do you think that Bridget should get somebody that would overlook where you train that person? I mean, how do you do it? What's the best way?
So we have two options, right? The first option is where we are more or less like a consulting group. So what we are doing is we are setting up the farm. Bridget will have to give us someone who she wants us to train to manage the farm. Okay. So it could be 2 people, 3 people. Like, for example, we have some people coming from Liberia for like a whole month of training. Okay. Wow. That is because they are the ones going to manage the farm. So in terms of management, they are handling. But what we do is we try to sync the farms. So what I mean by that is, though the farm is yours, the farm managers are yours, there is a data from the farm that they share with us, we access, and then we report back as well. So there's that bit for those who want to solely say, hey, I want to manage, I want the farm to be mine, I want to handle ABC. And then we have the second set of people. And the second set of people are the ones who said, you know, I love this, I want to do this, I don't have the time. I probably do not have the land. I'm probably not going to come to Ghana in like a year or two. What is
Right.
there for me? So then what we've decided to do is that instead of going to now look for a new land, you rather come and then we set up on our facility at
Okay.
Latman. So
Okay.
what that would happen with that one, there are two, even with that one, there are like two different options which we'll share with the client, and then the client would decide on what option they want. So the first option is basically the same thing you would have done on your farm. It will be brought to our farm. We'll do that, and then we just do the
Yeah.
financials with you and all of that. But you handle so, but the entire financials is still going to your end. And then there are the ones who we do percentages. So, for example, there we've done different. We have like two or three different investments that we some set of people, and one of them is like 30% per annum. So 30% of let's say someone says, I want to do 3 ponds, or I have let's say 2,000 pounds or 3,000 pounds. I want to do this. What can I do? Then what we will do is we look at what you have, and then we can tell you, all right, maybe 2,000 pounds. Do you prefer 30% per annum at the end of the entire production cycle? If it works for you, then we are good to go. So with those ones, you don't care. The person is not bothered about how the fish grows, what's happening, and what have you. At the end of the production cycle, at the end of the agreed date, at 30% of whatever you've
Invested.
can be sent to you. And if you want your principal back to you, just let us know, and then we make that arrangement.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. So what is the profit margins? Okay. People want to know the profit margin. So if I'm investing, I don't know, the 1,700 that you mentioned for like 6 months, what is the profit margins that we'll be looking at? Are there off takers already? Do I have to be worrying about if once the fish is ready, will I have off takers to take
Okay.
the fish?
All right. So for the ones that we manage the entire process,
Mm-hmm.
we are more or less like the same. We are more or less like the off takers. Okay.
Okay.
Reason being is it feeds into one or two production lines, so we can off take from that particular project, and then we clear that one out. But now, if let's say it's being produced on someone else's facility, what we do is in Ghana, there are a lot of people who reach out to us because they know that we are into fish farming. And so what they do is they either ask if we can, if they sometimes place an order, we want some fish, and then we ask, where are you calling from? Let's say the person says, I am calling from Bogatanga. Then we say, hey, we have Benjamin Boateng who happens to be in Bogatanga. He has a farm. Ben, can you supply this person? Ben says yes. Then he goes on to do that. So there's a bit of some referral bits coming in there. So there's that, and then there's the one that we offtake fully, and then we deliver, and then you receive your percentage in terms of the money. So if you're investing with us, generally per annum we work around like 30%. Sometimes it's higher. Sometimes if it goes low, it's normally like maybe 25%. That's for those that we do for like a year. And then if you are setting up your own farm, if you are to set up your own farm as well, maybe you're also working around like 25% to the same 30%. Again, if you finish your first cycle, you do your second cycle, and then you offset some of the cost, you are still looking at that same region again. But if your husbandry practices, maybe you have too much, sometimes at the initial stages of setting up a farm, people do invest more than what is required for the fish. Okay,
Right.
so they look for like you want to set up a farm, and you go and build a greenhouse, you go and get some heating systems, cooling systems, and what have you. Uh, you may spend too much, and it will take a longer period to make your money. Meanwhile, we understand the basic things that fish want. Fish want clean water, quality feed, and space to move. That's all. The rest are all peripherals.
Somebody's asked a question: do you support in finding suitable land for the fish farming, or can one set it up at their residential? I think we kind of answered it, but if you can go over again.
Yes, so that's where we do the feasibility assessment. So, for example, one of the projects we did in Sierra Leone, we had like different sites. We have like 3 different sites, and we needed to visit all the sites, make an assessment, and then arrive at a conclusion. And the same thing in Ghana and what have you. We visit the sites, and then we tell you this is the best. With this one, is we are not going to spend a lot of money to get started, because with us, if you have everything checked properly, it shouldn't take more than a week. The farm should be ready. When I say ready, I mean there's fish in your farm. That's how fast we like working.
Wow. And what is the maturity stages?
Good.
Like when would the fish be ready? When can it be sold?
All right. So we have 2 different cycles when it comes to catfish farming. So for catfish farming, you can do 4 months. So 4 months, 3 cycles per year, and then there's the 6 months. That's 2 cycles per year. Difference is the 4 months, 3 cycles per year. You are doing the smoked size fish. The smoked size fish are not too big. About 2 or 3 will give you like a kilo in size, and in 4 months they are off the market. They are off to the market, and then I would say the 2 months one, that one you want your fish to be very, very big, and that one too, after 6 months they can move to the market. But then when it comes to that of tilapia, depending on the size you want to grow, it could take you about almost 8 months. And so sometimes you just have 1 cycle per year or 1.5 cycle per year. Again, it depends on the kind of market you are looking out to. There are people who are doing tilapia and they are doing a shorter time because they are not growing them to be very huge. They are just growing a certain size because they have a niche that wants that size.
Okay. Bridget has asked a question: considering the intense heat in Ghana, do the fish tanks need to be under shades?
Okay, so in my farm, my fish is not under any shade. The tarpaulin materials are normally HDPE materials, and they are food grade materials. So you don't have a lot of microplastics being emitted into your farm. If you have a lot of water in your farm, in your pond, the minimum of 1.5 feet, that should be enough to handle the heat situation. But what we do is when we come and we set up a farm, now because the fish are going to come from a hatchery, sometimes they've not been exposed to sunlight yet. But what we do is we try and then let them go through periodic sunlight exposure. But then the next thing we can use is just a shade cloth. Okay, if you can get a shade cloth that is like 60-40 shade cloth, you can use to cover just 1/3 of your pond and your fish will be fine.
Okay, all right. So it's not necessarily, but you can have that if you need
Yes,
to.
you can have that.
And
I've seen
what would you
people spend a lot of money on like they do a whole more or less like it's wasting of money. So African catfish and the now tilapia, right? They like sunlight.
Okay.
They love the sunlight. They love the sunlight. So do that. And most of the farms where they've shaded completely their farms, there's a repercussion on that. And that repercussion happens when there's a cycle, the nitrogen cycle that happens that takes away some of the waste in your farm, because you see your pond looking green, right? The green is algae. The algae would feed on some of the waste in your pond, and they control the parameter, the water quality parameters a little bit. But if you've covered it, you see that a lot of those ponds look brown. And if the farmer if people don't know exactly what they are doing, then you may have some, maybe it could be disease or anything popping up because the water quality is becoming very bad. But all of these things, what we do is we train you, we will explain the details to you, you understand them properly, and then from time to time you pick it up. And what we do is we walk you through the process. So there are farms that we set up first day, and then for the very first day we stock your farm. So if we stock, let's say, 1,000 fish in this pond today, from today to the next week Saturday, every day you send us videos from your farm to show us how your fish is faring and all of that. And we give you a record sheet, which periodically will let you send us some, and then we take a look at it, and then we help you when there's a problem over there.
Okay. So Roots has sent a question. If you can read that on the screen.
Okay, so Roots says, once the fish grows to maturity and are sold, where do you find more fish from, and what cost do they go for, and how much are they sold for? Does selling fish have seasons like vegetable farming? Good. So Latman Farms will give you the input. So we sell the juveniles. We normally advise people to go in for juveniles. So different sizes of fish. There are, let me just break it down so it looks a bit simple. There are the eggies or egg fish. Those ones, you don't take them. They are the fingerlings. They are the juveniles. They are the jumbo. The difference is sizes, right? Latman Farms, we sell juveniles. Juveniles because the smaller the fish, the easier they die. So we sell juveniles because they are more robust and they are easy to stock in farms. So we sell them. Currently, we sell a piece for 2 Ghana cedis. We sell a piece for 2 Ghana cedis. I'm trying to do a quick conversion into dollar. So that's like 13 cents. I think 13 cents.
Okay.
Yes, 13 cents. That's per piece. And you said so fish. For aquaculture, we don't have seasons, so you can farm any time of the year, any single time of the year.
Wow. Okay. Kofi says, I think he wants you to reintroduce, because some people have just joined. So if you can just reintroduce yourself, Gabby, to the audience.
Okay, Kofi. So my name is Gabriel Latte, and I'm the founder of Latman Farms. And Latman Farms is basically into the production of catfish and tilapia, and a bit of some education as well. So we help people to set up fish farms in their backyards, move them into commercial scale farms, and we do a bit of some training, and we help people across the value chain to take advantage of different things. There are like things we do on processing where you can look at different things you can do with fish, and so that's basically what I do. And by the grace of God, I've set up over 170 farms. That's as of last year, and there's a lot more we are doing in this year. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. How long have you been involved in fish farming?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for just 5 years. Just 5 years.
5 years, and you've seen the impact that it's made on your life.
Exactly. That's why I even want to give it a lot more time and a lot more resource, because I have a lot of my story and my humble beginnings. Everything is online. They're on YouTube channels. Some happen to be on my channel as well. But you see how one tank became 2 tanks, became 3 tanks, and that growth came in there. Also, last year, as I mentioned to you during our interview, last year I happened to win an award in something around new person in the industry. I've forgotten the name of the award, but around like the new person in the industry face or something from the Chamber of Aquaculture Ghana last. And before that, there's a lot we've done in the space. 2 years ago, we were part of task force members. So there is this initiative, that's the Blue Foods Partnership Initiative, which is a new initiative that is pioneered in Ghana. And that initiative is supposed to spread across Africa. and that's basically there were more than 50 people, researchers and what have you, fly from the UK and America, come down to Ghana to discuss how we can come up with solutions around marketing and then around fish health solutions. And I happened to go to the marketing side because that's where my expertise was needed.
Okay, so Obed has asked, how much do you charge to build the fish tanks and the pipe supply, etc.?
All right. So Obed, if you are if you go on the package, so for the package, on our package, every charge is inclusive in the package. Okay, so if you go for a package for, let's say, 1,000 fish, and then the charge is 11,500, the setup fee, the installation fee, what have you, is all inclusive in there. The only thing that is not included in there would be if we have to do a feasibility assessment, right? Because feasibility assessment, we need to find out what's your location, okay? And we need to drive there, and we need to see how long you want us to be on that particular bit or that project. So, beside that, if you go for any of our packages, which is very open and live, we have the fees or whatever it is all
Embedded. It's all inclusive. Okay, somebody asked about the training. So we're actually doing a training with Gabby, and that is sometime next month. So if you are interested in joining that, please do contact us. I'll share the email, and you can join his fish farming training. There's been a lot of interest since we posted this, and people are. I think we're now looking at 2 days, right, Gabby?
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then we're also going to be doing it live for people in the diaspora to be also to join in and to learn. So please do take down the details, and then you can join us for this training. So that is that. Let me remove this. So more questions have come in. Let me go here. Maxwell.
Okay, so Maxwell, the question is, what is the scope to expand tilapia from tilapia and catfish to other breeds, and what demands of this do you currently see? Okay, so so this is it. Even with Latman farms, what we do is for new farmers, right? Because a lot of the people we work with are new farmers, and people who have little to no idea about fish farming. So we start off with catfish because they're a bit rugged, they are strong, they can take a lot of your mistakes, and then from there we graduate you into tilapia. As part of our business plan, we were looking at in 2025, we're looking at doing shrimp culture, and we started working on it like 2 years ago. And then we also looked at ornamental fish and what have you. Now, the challenges we saw with the shrimp culture, which even halted the entire project, has to do with resources. So the resources is, first off, the breed. Where are you going to get the proper breed from? Okay, and the certifications and what have you when it comes to that. The second thing had to do with the feed. So there are a couple of feed companies in Ghana, but you may probably bring a breed, or you may start something that you don't have, or we don't have any of the companies currently bringing that in. That will mean that when you're bringing that from another place, or let's say from any country to Ghana, the cost can be a bit on the high. And then the third bit would be the knowledge gap. All the same, I have been working on some few projects with some senior lecturers and lecturers from the Marine and Fisheries Department of the University of Ghana. And so it's more or less like the more people who get into fish farming, the more we can also support that wing. That is the wing of research. And based on that research, there could be a lot more we can also develop from time to time. So it can be a bit challenging. Okay, it can be a bit challenging. But currently on freshwater fish, this is what we are doing.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Ajwa Opari says, please, does feed take a huge toll on rearing fish? Yes. Funny thing is, I've heard a lot of people say about 75% of our cost goes into feeding. It is not 75. It's probably around 60% of the cost goes into feeding. Yes, 60% of your cost, 50 to 60% of your cost goes into feeding. And well, it can take a huge toll on you based on different factors. For example, people who set up farms for, we realize that if your husbandry practices are right, your fish do not consume that a lot of feed to gain a weight. Let me explain to you. So let's just say your fish needs to eat one portion of rice to get a kilo of weight. Now, if the husbandry practices are not okay, your fish may need to eat 1.5 portion of rice to get a kilo of weight. Okay, so we are big on the husbandry practices because these are areas where we see people making money. Today, I spoke to a farmer who I helped him to start, and it's been almost 3 years since he started this business, and he's trying to expand. And he had a lot of challenges, and I told him every step of the way, I would help you to move away from some of these challenges. And even in some areas, as we were discussing, he's even better off with what he's doing than myself because he's now telling me he sells a lot of smoked fish, like a lot of smoked fish. And even with that, he was asking me if I can even get him some supplies from some of my farmers as well. So feed can take a huge toll, but it's basically going to be around 50 to 60% of your cost. If you take care of the fish properly, it could be a bit lower.
Okay. And which market are you seeing? Which is better? Is it the catfish or the tilapia? Which one is Ghanaians really consuming a lot, or is it both?
Okay, so when it comes to Ghana, Ghanaians are consuming a lot of tilapia, no doubt. Okay, I would say Ghanaians are consuming well over 70% of tilapia. Okay,
Wow.
but what we realized with the catfish industry is, for example, in December, so this is like a quick market insight, okay? And this insight is coming because you've joined this live stream. And so in December, a lot of people who started their fish farm sell big in December, right? And then when they sell in December, I'm talking about in January, February, you get a lot of calls that people are looking for, let's say, a fish that is over 6 months. That's like a kilo size of fish. And for 3 months, there's been shortage. For three
What?
whole months, there's been shortage. So I've got some of my farmers calling me, asking me. So it's become, do you know where I can get the bigger size of fish? Because now people want it. And all of this
Wow.
is basically understanding of the market strengths. So in as much as Ghanaians are big on tilapia, now pre-COVID, you can count the number of catfish grills that were available in Accra. Now they are more than quadruple the number. Okay.
Wow.
Now a lot of the restaurants are now using the catfish in their soups. Now there are different products that is coming out from that. And you see, there's a lot to fish farming than what we already know or what we've seen. Okay. There's fish powder, there are fish sausages, there are fish fillets, fish nuggets. There are a whole lot of things that you just need to get one niche, and then when you take that niche, what you do is you go in as hard as you can.
Okay. I think this is great. I mean, Charlie, people are excited. I'm seeing messages on LinkedIn. Let me see. There's more questions here. And please, we've got about maybe I'll extend it to another like 10 minutes. If you have any questions that you want to ask Gabby before he goes, please do send us a message as well. Ajwa says she's reshared. Okay, Tony said that she's going to be attending the online training. How much charge to build it? Okay, James is watching from Texas. Okay. So are you saying from your last thing that you mentioned, are you saying that during December, like you should plan and do maybe your fish farming closer to December when there's a lot of people eating fish and tilapia and all that? But then I know that in like Nigeria, people eat more catfish, right?
Yes. So in different African countries, people eat a lot of catfish to tilapia. Okay. Uganda, for example, they do eat a lot of catfish as well. DRC, they do a lot of catfish. Gambia, Guinea, I know they do a lot of catfish. So depending on where you find yourself, the other can be a very good alternative. But you see, what we've realized is people love the two. Okay, there are people who consume tilapia, but they still like catfish. Okay, so you still see an intersection of the two different markets coming into play. And another thing, one of the reasons why it is the best time for you to do something around fish farming is because we don't have a lot of people doing it.
Okay.
In as much as you may think there are a lot of fish farmers, we don't have a lot of people doing it.
Okay.
And
So
so exactly. And there are some people who are doing it, but they are not doing it right. So yours is to get the quality information, join any of these you can join this live stream, you can rewatch it and try to get the details that you are looking out for. Based on that, you can make an informed decision. Then we hold your hand, you go a step at a time all through the process. Because we have a lot of success stories we've shared on YouTube from people who set up with and what they are seeing and how beautiful they want to even expand and what have you.
my internet cut out there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, my internet cut out there. I hear a dog. No, it's not my dog. It is Gabby's dogs. Gabby has a lot of dogs in his house.
Forgive.
Okay, so another question from Roots.
Yes. So, Ruth, good thing. So, for example, Lady Dentaa, when you visited my farm, right?
Yeah.
The set of fish that you saw, the initial plan was to sell them in December. Okay, and then we knew all about what was going to happen. We decided to just hold on.
Okay.
So so one thing with catfish or tilapia is if you are still feeding them, they keep on growing. So if you can wait a month or two, that's fine. But another thing is when you smoke the fish, it can last a longer period. You can smoke fish and it will last 4 months. It can last 6 months.
Okay.
You understand? Depending on the level of moisture. So you can always do something around the life cycle of the fish.
Okay. What is the typical return on investment? I think you said it's 30% on the investment.
Yeah, we are looking at 25 to 30% on investment.
Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Kwabena. Madam Kujo says, I started my 3 weeks ago, but my pond is always green.
Okay, so that's not a bad thing. Fish like green water. it's the presence of algae in the pond. The only thing is that you shouldn't have an excessive bloom of the green in your pond. So what I mean by excessive bloom is where the green makes the top of, like, you see like clouds on top of your pond. If you see clouds on top of your pond, that's going to be a challenge. But aside that, if you are changing your water on regular basis, then the green is even a nicer environment for your fish.
Okay. What are some of the challenges with fish farming that one should be aware of?
Okay, so the challenges has to do with there's a challenge with disease. There are animals, you can have issues with disease, and the issues with disease starts with there's a concept of biosecurity. So you always have to check your biosecurity measures which you have in place in your farm, and there are always counter biosecurity measures that whenever there is a disease you can use it to counter. But then if the biosecurity is okay, you barely have disease in your farm. I've been running, so my new site, I've run the farm for a while now, and we've not really had any major issue coming up in the farm. Probably because we are a bit out of town and what have you. But if biosecurity is okay, you do have little issues. Two, the second bit of challenge can also come around marketing and sales, which is very, very important. Now,
Okay.
you can't set up a fish farm and nobody knows about it. That's
Okay.
what I've seen. People can, it's just like any other business. You can't say you are doing a business A and nobody knows about it. So if people know about it, definitely they'll come and buy your fish.
Okay. What is the minimum amount one can invest in Lutman farms? I think this one is for your farm.
Okay. So for that one, what I'll say is currently we are working on we worked on an investment module, and for the amounts that you'd require, right? I'll share our email or our contact with you.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen.
Yes, and then we'll just let you guys. You can just hit us up, and then we'll let you know what the minimum looks like. Because we always do have a cap as well. So there's always a cap. And we don't want the fact that we are open to investment doesn't also mean that we want too much excess money. Okay, so there's a cap, but then all the same, reach out to us, and then we'll be able to give you the info. I hear when it comes to smoked fish, customers prefer smoked fish harvested from the sea to the farm fish. Okay, so Adjoa, you're talking about people preferring the fish from the rivers or lakes. Okay, that's changing. That particular thought is changing. Reason being is quite a number of people now are looking for farm fish when they know the farmer is someone who is big on hygiene and biosecurity and producing very good and quality fish. Okay, because I when I started a business, this was something I saw where people were like, "Oh, I like the one from the river. I like the one from that," because the idea was the river, there's a lot of water, the fish has a lot of space, and what have you. But I'm as I'm telling you this on massive authority, and that's the reason why we did a Blue Foods initiative where we are promoting farm fish, because farm fish we know exactly what we are giving to the fish, as compared to some that we don't know what the fish may have consumed before they are in front of the table. And our fish will always go through labs, and labs will look at whatever residues you have in there before people consume them. Yeah.
Okay. James has asked, what is the biosecurity and what does it entail?
Okay, so biosecurity is biological security. So it's protecting your farm or your pond in the way that you don't have any biological organism, parasite, virus, bacteria coming from outside into your farm. So more or less like COVID-19 protocols. So you have some protocols put in place so that you don't have the spread of the virus or what have you visiting your or coming into your farm. So there are like some sterilization processes. There are some places people who don't work in the farm are supposed to go to, and all of those things can enforce proper biosecurity.
Okay. What is the, okay, Isabel has asked again, what is the minimum amount one can start investing into Lapman Farm? So if you want him to set one up for you, it is $750 to set that up, which is about 11,000 Ghana cedi, and he can set up your farm for you. He can also train, maybe if you have a staff member that can, you know, overlook the farm for you. And also talking about security in terms of, have you had anyone steal the fishes in the night? Like, how do you make sure that security is tight around the farm as well?
Okay, so based on where we are now, in the evening, the entire farm is lit. There's lights everywhere.
Okay.
That's first one. Second bit is we have someone who is on the farm
Okay.
as a farm manager. And third thing is we have some cameras as well looking onto the farm. So these are some quick things that you can look out for when it comes to security of your farm. But if it's an open farm, oh my God, then you just have to hope that because when we are setting up a farm, one of the things we come up with a lot is security. Security
Yeah.
not because someone will steal your fish. Sometimes it's just someone can come and drop something in your pond. You don't know who and what, and that could kill your fish. So security is creating an out of bounds area. Okay,
Mm.
unless you give people access. So for example, in my farm, nobody visits my farm without my knowledge. Irrespective of wherever I am supposed to know that person A or B is visiting the farm. And that's just because I prep myself and my team that someone is visiting and they will put in place whatever protocol we need to.
Okay. You have another question?
Please, do I have to create canopy on the pond? No, Perpetua, you do not have to create a canopy on the pond. A canopy, the money for the canopy you can use to buy feed, you can use for something else. The canopy is not going to help your fish because your fish would need some amount of sunlight. If you want to shade, just buy a shade cloth. They look like a net. You can buy something that's like 60/40. And you can just shade 1/3 of your pond, and that should be okay for you.
Okay.
So
Another
how can
question?
someone scale their fish farm that many are not aware of? The question is, Lady Dentaa, do you get what she's trying to say?
How can someone scale their fish farm that many are not aware of? Roots, please come back and
Yes,
explain the
yes,
question for us,
we,
please.
we get you.
Would- Yeah, that would be great. Someone says, okay. Um, okay, can you build the fish farm yourself after the training? So after you give the training, can somebody go along and build, or they will still
Yes,
need your input?
yes. You can build. Different kinds of training that we do. There are trainings that we've taught people how to set up the farm themselves. Okay, I'm seeing that because Joshua is an engineer. He looks like an engineer. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can basically build a farm yourself. And reason why we even push a lot more of the tarpaulin tanks is because The concrete tanks even cost a lot more. Adra of Paribia also says, no canopy. What if it rains, please? The truth of the matter is, if they're in the wild, that is, if they're in a river somewhere and it rains, they are still okay. So rain doesn't really affect your fish at all.
Yeah.
Unless you are talking about flooding. Even with that, our ponds are about 3 to 4 feet above, 3 to 4 feet above in height, right? So it needs to rain at least 3 to 4 feet for water to overflow into your pond. But generally, rains are not going to affect your ponds in any way.
Okay, next question.
Who are your typical customers? How often do they buy from you, and how do you acquire the customers? All right, so typical customers. So when I started, I used to sell. I've sold fish. I've sold fish at a farmers market for about 6 months before, where
Okay.
I smoke the fish myself. I take them to the farmers market. There was a farmers market around opposite University of Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
The bookshop, Legon Bookshop. They used to run a farmers market thing over there, and I sold to individuals. Reason why individuals, when I say individuals, is normally a lot of people who do 9 to 5. There are mothers, women, wives who do the 9 to 5 normally like the fish because most of the time when they go to the market to buy, let's say, catfish, they don't get it as fresh and as clean as what they will get from my end.
Right.
Yes, because that is one of the challenges. People go to the markets to buy fish and they are not well kept. Okay, and because they are not well kept, some of them have you can see some mold, some of them have developed other things. So the very first set of people we sell to is like households. But the households that know the Latman farms, this is what we do. They always reach out to us to ask for some smoked fish. How do I acquire my customers? So for me, because I'm very visible online, people know that this is what I am doing, and because people know that this is what I am doing, they easily reach out to me um, for my fish. One of my farmers who is not very visible online like myself, one of the ways he gets the buyers is he talks to people at his workplace, church, different places, and let people know that this is what I am doing. Okay. And because his farm is not too big, it's about like 3,000 capacity or so. Yes. So he smokes from time to time, periodic, and then these people come in and buy. I've also had a lot of people who move. So funny thing is, people come to Ghana and when they are going back to different countries in the diaspora, they want to take some fish along, right? So I've had instances where people have given an order, some of them 15 kilos of fish. We smoke them about almost with almost 20% moisture left, and then we put that together, and then we sell to those people as well. Okay.
Okay. So Kweku has a
Sergius, how are you doing? So Goku says last man is a real okay. This is fun for me. So he joined, one of the trainings and he says it became a game changer for him. Richard, I salute you, sir.
amazing.
Okay.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing,
we've
amazing.
been doing this training for a long time. Some of the trainings we did, we even had people from the university and very renowned farmers doing very large scale farms visiting us all to share their thoughts. In which state do you sell more volumes, fresh catfish or smoked? I do more of the smoked because it gives me more money. Yes, but whenever I'm selling fresh catfish, technically I do my calculation in tons. Okay, so and a pond, every pond is I'm looking at a ton of fish in a pond. So if let's say someone wants to buy smoked catfish, if you tell me you want 500 kilos, I won't mind you as compared to if you tell me you are buying a ton of fish. So for fresh, I'm selling tons. For smoked, I sell almost any quantity. Yes, but I prefer to
Okay.
do. So if I have like 20 pounds, if you have like 20 pounds, I will prefer to do about 15 pounds smoked and then 5 pounds fresh because of the kind of market I have.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if there's any other questions. I know that Ayi came back. Ruth says, sorry, he meant with scaling, I mean, expand their fish farm business.
Yes, so Ruth, with scaling the fish farm business, what exactly is the question now? Because now I've understood that you are talking about scaling as in expanding the farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
How do
so
you
let
expand?
me try and see if I can answer this. So typically, right, I've had people start with 2,000 fish and move to 10,000 fish in less than 6 months. Okay, what informs those decisions? Um, First off, it depends on how well you take care of your fish in the very first 3 months. Second, what is the market looking out for from your end? Okay, so if the market says, because I know some people, one of the farms I set up around Dorinya, we did just two ponds for them, and that was in February. And he reached out to me this week again saying he wants to add 4 extra ponds, and the reason is because uh, his uh, his farm managers. I spent about 3 hours with his farm manager, teaching him some things about fish farming and the basics. Okay, so moving from 2 to 6 is basically market demand, and then also how well your people can manage and perform their daily farm management practices. You can easily move from 2 to 10 ponds in 6 months or less. There are farms where we
Mm,
stop every 2 months. So let's say you want to do 10,000 fish, right? And what we do is in 6 months, this month we stock two ponds. Next month we stock 2 ponds. Next month we stock
okay.
2 ponds. Next month we stock 2 ponds. So when it's time to harvest, every month is like a cycle. So every
Right.
month it's about like some fish already ready for the market. So at least every time you should have some fish available.
Okay. Okay. Adwa says, please, do you produce feeds too?
So at the moment, we do not produce feed, but there are very quality feed companies currently in Ghana. About 4 or 5 of them. I've tried almost all of them. When I say try, I've tested them on research basis, and if you are doing the right things, you should get your results. So I recommend buying any feed that is closer to you. You just let me know the brand, and then I'll let you know what the background
Okay.
info is based on the research.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, this has been awesome. This has been great. I
Amazing.
know that it looks like Adwa is very interested.
I can see.
Okay. Another one here.
Okay, so the size of your pond is 14 by 5 by 5. Okay, with 500 feet. I want to know how to feed them and what should be the water level. So hold on. 14 by 5 times 5. So let me use, let's say, 3 times 20.316. Okay, good. So the size that, so in actual sense, your pond can take yeah, in natural sense, your pond can take almost 600 fingerlings. That is, if you are having the water being up to 2 feet, okay. But currently, with the amount of whatever fingerlings you have, a foot and a half should be ideal in terms of water. When it comes to the feeding, take the contact, okay, and then I'll show you how you can calculate for the feed as well. So the feed comes in different ways. Quantity per day, you divide what you're supposed to feed in the morning, what you're supposed to feed in the evening, and then we extrapolate to that. And we are supposed to top it up every 2 weeks. Okay, so reach out to us. Just say, hi, my name is this, and I joined from the Ordinal network, and then I'll know exactly where you're coming from, and I'll make sure that my people take care of you nicely because you're coming from this live stream.
Okay. More questions?
Yeah, so simply, is it, madam? So so what I said is you can reach out to us on Latman Farms, and again, if you want to just invest, we are normally looking at different regions, but one of them is around 30% per annum for an investment. So just reach out to us, and then we can share a proper documentation with you to look into it, and then we can pick up something from there. Okay. Good. How we control birds from the farm? So when we come and set up a farm, we also put a net on top of that. I'm sure, Lord willing, when into my the farm visit with
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
you see
tomorrow,
that
7
there
p.m.
are nets on top of the 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 ponds, and it's a part of the package. So that's what I'm saying. The package is a holistic package. It comes with the ponds, with the metal works, the plumbing materials, the installation, the fish, the cover net. That's amazing, and some bit of training. So how do we regulate the temperature of a fish pond? Are you impacted in any way by doom so? What challenges do you currently face with your farms, and how are you managing them? This is like a research. This is like a thesis or a proposal. All right. So one of the ways you regulate temperature is volume of water. If you have a lot of water in your pond, the temperature difference is not massive. Okay, so that is the first thing. So if you have a lot of water in your pond, the temperature difference is not massive. All the same, we do some water quality testing. If you realize the temperature is so this is it. Any temperature between 24 to 32 degrees Celsius is okay for your fish. And our general climate falls in between that range. So most of the time, we don't have temperature fluctuations as compared to people who are going to be doing this in some parts of the world. So normally in our fish farm, we don't have too much temperature differences. But if there are any, we do percentile changes. So 25 to 50% of water change, and then you replace, and then you are good. Am I impacted by doom so in any way? Currently, I run my farm on solar, so I have a full solar system that helps the farm, and I don't run any aeration currently. So the only way I can be impacted by doom so, even if I don't have a solar system, will be that I need to be pumping water into my ponds from time to time, right? So if I don't have power during that time, then maybe I can't be affected. But for the challenges, I've shared some of them. I think you should rewatch this video again
Yeah.
from the beginning, and you pick a lot of things from here. Because again, I started from nothing in this business. I didn't even study this in the university. My background is theater arts and study of religions, and then I did a few of some digital marketing courses and what have you over there. But again, this is me now, so you can watch again, and then you get how I handled some of these challenges. And there are still a lot of challenges. Some of it, the challenges what we are addressing now, we need a lot more investment into the field because we feel that so what we are trying to build now is there's a big pool, okay? And that big pool, Latman Farms alone cannot enjoy from that big pool. So we want to build a community, and that's what we've been doing for the past couple of years now. You build a community, build the capacity, and let's all enjoy from different aspects of the value chain. For all you know, some of you may have joined this live stream. You go sit down, think about it, reach out to Lady Dentaa again and say, you know what, I want to start a business in maybe the UK, US, wherever you are, where you want to take fish from Ghana in one way or the other, and
Yeah.
and you sell to the African markets or what have you. So it's all something that can be worked on. How often should I change water in a pond? We change water twice in a week. Twice in a week should be ideal for water changes in a farm.
Perfect. Okay. So I've put Gabby's email is scrolling as well, his email and his number. Please do mention Ordana Network or Guba or Dental, whatever, when you send your message.
Yes, very important. Very, very important. If you don't mention, you may pay. Okay, so mention.
So Gabby, for future agro. Yay! We love that. We love that. We love that. We love that. So no, please do get in touch with him. Obviously, it is a business. You do have to pay for this. It's important that we support Latman in his, his job that he's doing. Not everything is for free. Obviously, this session, if you joined, is for free, and I'm sure you've taken a lot of things away. But for the training that we're going to be doing, and for subsequent things that you want to do with Latman Foods, get in touch with him. He will be good to you because of us, but there will be a charge. Please do mention us when you do that. This is very good conversation. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Lee, for joining. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I will be in contact. I think that's about it. Yes, 1.5 hours. Wow, I thought it was going to be an hour, but we've been here for an hour and a half. I'm sure we could go on for longer. People are starting to join as well, but thank you so much. But this will be obviously on Facebook. It will be on YouTube, so you can go and rewatch the interview as well. So I don't know if you have any last words before we go, Gabby.
Okay, so my last words, first off, thank you so much again for this amazing opportunity. Myself and the entire team at Latman Farms, we say thank you, and we thank your community as well. The last statement is fish farming has come to stay, and is something that we want it to be a way of meeting some of the needs for ourselves as a people. Okay, so if you have any ideas, Latman Farms, you're open to ideas and what have you, you can always reach out to us, and you can share your ideas with us with the email. And last bit, if let's say you want to, so we have a lot of free content on fish farming. Okay, when you visit Latman Farms on YouTube, there are well over 60 or 100 videos where you can learn different things on, and some of the CNN video and what have you. Yeah, I have to rub that. You can learn as well over there. But again, Lady Dentaa, thank you so much. I appreciate
Very
this
welcome.
opportunity.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for joining. Our audience have been very well informed on the amazing opportunity in investing in catfish or fish farming or tilapia, whatever it is that is your interest. And he has, gained a lot of knowledge. As he mentioned, that was not his field, but he then started studying and learning about fish farming. He has done over 60 plus videos on his YouTube, so you can go on there as well and learn from that. He's been featured on CNN. Yes, he's been featured on CNN, which was a proud moment for him and his family and the work that he has been able to do. So again, Gabby, thank you so much. I'll call you after I wrap up. But we're so grateful for Gabby for taking out the time on a Saturday, joining us on a live. So if there's any other topics that you would love for me to do, any other agriculture businesses that you think, oh, Dent, I'm really interested in this, we want more information, please do let me know. And I would definitely get the right person on to support. Again, if you want to get in touch with Gabriel, his email, latmanfarms@gmail.com. His telephone number is also scrolling. But if you are interested in, joining the training, please do get in touch with us as well. And we would be happy to facilitate that. And for you in the diaspora, bring your dollar down so that we can, benefit here, job creation, all of that. And you can do this in your backyard. That is the thing. As long as you have the right documentation, which Gabriel will help you do that, you will be able to have a fish farm in your back garden. And for those in the diaspora that would love to join the Goober Diaspora Network, please do get in touch. You can get in touch with our number as well. We'd love to see how best we can support you in your transition to Ghana or doing business in Ghana. We also have Goober Tours, so if you want to do any tours in Ghana with a group, we are happy to support that as well. Now, we are going to Barbados for the Goober Awards in November. Yes, we are going to Barbados. Can you imagine? Yay, Caribbean. I'm hoping that we will see Rihanna when we're there. But you never know. Let me dream. Maybe I'll see Rihanna walking down the beach. You never know. But again, thank you so much to the government of Barbados for wanting to host the Goober Awards in Barbados. So we're very excited about that. And if you haven't used Pay Angel, please make sure that you use Pay Angel and use the Goober code, because if you are transferring money to Gabriel, to his Ghana Momo, you would need a Goober code. And so make sure that you do download Pay Angel app and make sure that you use the Goober code when you use your first transaction. Again, thank you all so much. Keep an eye out for the interview tomorrow. It's going to go live. It's going to be very great. It's going to be exciting. You will see everything, all the questions that you have asked is most of the questions that I asked him as well. What else? Okay, I've got a few comments here. I'll just thank you, Mr. Johnson. Pay Angel is a money transfer company. Please download the app and you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, wherever it is that you want to send money. Just make sure that when you are downloading for the first time and you're transferring, please use the Goober code. Again, thank you all so much. It's the month of March. It's my birthday month. My birthday's gone, but I'm still celebrating. It was March the 13th, but I'm still celebrating. Thank you for all the love that you guys have shown me. I really do appreciate it. We are actually going to Memphis on the 8th to the 10th of April for a trade mission with the Memphis mayor. Very excited about that, so that they can learn about the opportunities that is here on the continent, and also bring the mayor to Ghana as well. We'll be doing a similar thing for the Chicago mayor and Ohio mayor as well. So we're really looking forward to doing more trade missions and for getting people to look back home to Ghana. That's Sankofa Bird. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Please keep sharing this link because somebody somewhere needs to see it. God bless you all. Have a great evening, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.